All right, let's unpack this. We've got a story here that kind of blends this iconic business dynasty legacy with the sharp realities of corporate finance and a takeover. It's a really fascinating deep dive into a pretty significant shift happening right now in the automotive parts sector. So our mission today is to, distill the core events, figure out who the key players are, and look at the wider implications of this whole corporate drama. We want to give you a clear overview of what can seem like pretty complex financial news. And just so you know, all the info we're discussing comes from a recent report called Hyundai Descendants Company Transfers Ownership After Bankruptcy. Gives us a good window into things. So right at the heart of this unfolding story is Dae-sun Chung. Now, that name immediately brings a certain family to mind, right? He's a Hyundai family, third-generation descendant, specifically the grandson of the late Chung Ju-young, the founder of Hyundai Group, and the third son of the late Chung Mong-woo, who was chairman of Hyundai Aluminum. And maybe a detail some people know, he's married to the former announcer No Hyun-jung.
Yeah, and it's hard to overstate how much weight that Hyundai family name carries in Korea. It's not just business, it's like woven into the country's economic history. So,
Yeah.
any business challenge or really anything involving the descendants, it gets a lot of public and industry attention. This situation is definitely getting that.
Absolutely. That legacy, it's huge. Which makes you wonder, how does a company connected to that lineage end up in, well, deep trouble? What were the issues that led HN Inc., the company Dae-sun Chung used to lead, into such severe financial difficulty?
Well, the problems were clearly significant, serious enough that back in 2023, HN Inc. had to apply for court receivership, which, just to clarify for everyone, is basically a legal process when a company is in deep financial distress. The court steps in, takes supervision, tries to rehabilitate it, but almost always it means the existing management loses control. And in this case, yeah, the court approved HN Inc.'s rehabilitation plan, but that effectively stripped them of their controlling stake in another company, Wusu AMS. So they had to find a new owner for Wusu AMS urgently.
Right, so HN Inc. is struggling, losing its grip. And the focus shifts to this other company, Wusu AMS. That's the one caught in the crosshairs. It's a Kosdaq-listed auto parts maker. What's its story? I heard it was founded by Chairman John Jong-in, then sold to a venture capital firm, Datum Investment, back in 2019.
That's right. And connecting it back to HN Inc., they weren't directly holding the Wusu AMS shares themselves. It was more indirect. They exerted control by investing in what's called a special purpose company, an SPC. This one called Datum Harmony Number One. That SPC was the previous largest shareholder, holding about 11.52% of Wusu AMS.
Right.
Then came the big turning point, the official news, July 4th, 2025. Wusu AMS formally announced a change in its largest shareholder.
Okay, so HN Inc. is out. Wusu AMS needs a new controlling owner. Who steps up? And this is where it gets really interesting, right? Futronic emerges as the new top shareholder, a pretty significant rise. What do we know about Futronic?
Well, Futronic is a mid-sized player in the auto parts world. Founded back in '93 by Go Jinho, who was actually an engineer before becoming chairman. Their core business is pretty critical stuff. They make electronic control units, actuators, essential components for modern cars. And they're not just some small supplier. Their client list is pretty impressive. We're talking global automakers. Hyundai Motor, GM, Ford, Volkswagen, Stellantis. Having that kind of customer base, it really says something about their reliability and market position.
And their financials seem to back that up, right? Over 180 billion won in revenue last year, and about 40 billion won in net profit. That's refined 135 million US dollars revenue, 30 million profit. Pretty solid. And the cash position over 57 billion won in cash assets end of last year. Wow, that's around 43 million US dollars. That's quite a war chest for a mid-sized company.
It absolutely is. And here's maybe the most striking part of this whole deal. Futronic bought Wusu AMS using only internal funds. No external borrowing at all.
Really? Just
Yeah.
cash on hand.
Exactly. Which signals, not just strong financial health, but really smart strategic planning. It shows they have the internal muscle to make big moves without taking on debt. That's a powerful position, especially these days.
Fascinating. So they had the money. How exactly did they execute the takeover? How did they become the controlling shareholder?
Okay, so they made a key move by acquiring an additional 9% stake in Wusu AMS through what's called a block deal. It's like a large private sale of shares. That bumps their total ownership up to 18.27%, instantly making them the largest shareholder.
So it wasn't just one big purchase then.
No, not entirely. This block deal was crucial, but they'd actually been strategically buying up Wusu AMS shares on the open market since August 2024, quietly accumulating. They also bought a decent chunk of shares from Wusu Precision, which is an affiliate company of Wusu AMS. So it was a multi-pronged approach.
And the signal of intent became really clear too, right? They changed their reason for holding the shares.
Precisely. Their official filing changed the purpose from simple investment to management participation. That's, a very clear signal, no ambiguity there. They intend to run the company.
So what's next? A formality.
Pretty much. Wusu AMS is expected to hold a shareholder meeting probably as soon as next month, so August 2025, to formally approve the management rights change, solidify Phutronics control.
Okay, so that covers the corporate maneuvering, but let's bring it back to the personal side for a moment. What were the direct consequences for Dyson Chung himself from H&E Inc. ending up in court receivership?
Yeah, this is where the story really kind of hits home about the personal cost. It shows how corporate financial problems, even for people from these, incredibly well-known families, can directly hit personal assets and legacy. We saw that very starkly back in March 2025. His luxury villa in Xiangbukdong, and also a plot of land there, about 183 peons.
Which is about 600 square meters, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That land was actually inherited directly from his grandfather, Chung Ji-young. Both the villa and the land were put up for auction.
Wow. Inherited land from the founder himself, ending up on the auction block. That's quite something. Do we know the kind of values involved?
Yeah, the appraisals were significant. About 2.69 billion won for the villa and 6.69 billion won for the land.
So roughly $2 million for the villa, $5 million for the land.
It really underlines the far-reaching consequences when a business fails, doesn't it? Regardless of who you are or your family history.
So wrapping this up, what does it all mean for you listening? Well, this deep dive really gives us a real-world look at how fluid corporate ownership can be, how fortunes can change. It shows the sometimes unseen struggles and also the triumphs happening constantly in the business world, even for names tied to deep legacies.
Yeah, and it makes you think, doesn't it? In today's world, with industries changing so fast and all these economic pressures, what does it actually take for a company not just to survive, but to really thrive and adapt strategically? Is it just about the money, the history, the lineage? Or is there something else, maybe agility or foresight, that really decides who wins in the end?